Adam Cole. Darn, he's been an NXT champion for a very long time, ain't he? Oh, sorry about that. This is Kenny the Sapa Kangaroo, and it's time for a one-on-one with the Brutal One. And the guest tonight, Mr. George Carlos Pastor, aka GCP, aka Boy Pastor. Oh well, bear enjoy. Oh shoot! Oh crap shots. Oh well.
What can stop me?
Oh, hello, this is Murphy the Marmot. I'm a Vancouver Marmot. Oh, by the way, while I'm watching, why don't you just get on with the show so the viewers of the Brutal One had a good time to chat with Mr. George Carlos Pastor. So, cameraman, move along, please, while I'm watching.
That's undisputed. Adam Cole, dream over.
Good evening to you all, children out there. I see children near down the corner of the bathroom door. It doesn't matter. This is the Brutal One, Rolando Alejandro Zamora, and right now I am with this guy from Smart Henry. His name is George Carlos Pastor, also known as GCP, o hindi kaya si Boy Pastor. So, musta ka na dyan sa inyo? How's the situation as of now?
Okay naman here in Taytay. It's a lot medyo sanay na. Still not the best, but we're hanging on. Okay man.
Alright. Now, before we proceed, I was curious. You're using a laptop, right, for this recording, right?
I'm on my desktop.
Desktop, that's good. And then the mic itself, alam ko, all-in-one yan sa headphone mo, no? It works properly, to say the least. Oh, okay, that's nice. Anyway, so, how are you, man? I mean, COVID-19 had us grounded, but not always, there are occasions we had to go out there and buy some groceries as long as you have the complete requirements. Face mask, that's for one. And then later, kailangan na ng, let me see, yung face shield. And apparently, it has to be what we called, home quarantine pass.
Yeah.
Pero, ewan ko lang pag sa supermarket baka kailangan single person pang ganun or something. But my wife and I gonna find out tomorrow, if possible. Do a little grocery, won't hurt naman, at least. And what about you and your family? Have you got out on fewer occasions? Only when necessary?
Somewhat for work. We keep client meetings at a minimum, so usually one or two lang, and it's always safe distancing with people that we're meeting with. As much as possible, we keep the meetings short as possible.
So, we begin your penchant for professional wrestling. On what particular time when you're starting to hook into the world of pro wrestling? Kahit na simula ka sa WWE kung posible.
Siguro meron akong 3 stages na nahilig talaga ako sa wrestling. One, it was as a kid. Yan.
Okay.
Bilang bata ka. And then I rediscovered it nung nasa RPN 9.
Yeah.
And then when it transferred to Jack TV. And then nung nawala siya sa Jack TV, that was when nung nakapanood ako ng Joshi Jam.
Yes, the first Joshi Jam, 2014 in January, tama?
I was there. I got invited by Nintendo.
Him.
And he and I watched it. Tapos it was fun kasi ang main selling point niya sa akin was si Tajiri na doon. Si Tajiri lang kilala ko. Surprise, Mia Yim was there.
Sa NXT yun mga bata, huwag niyo
yeah. Akira, The Bodyguard, si Shuri
Sure
Kondo.
Kondo.
Shuri Kondo was there. Um, what else ba? Ayun, yung matatandaan ko right now.
And yes, those guys on from PWR, yung original group. Yes, that
Yeah.
consists of, let me see, nandun si JTL, CPL, si Mayhem, si Bombay Suarez, si Ken Warren, and
Yeah.
si Nintendo nandoon pala, to say this. I mean,
Yeah.
I can say kung party siya
Yeah.
ng batch 1 or batch 2, something like that.
Actually, nakakatawa nun. I don't think he was part of it yet, pero ng intermission when the guys um, were performing moves dun sa middle of the ring, bigla na lang umakyat si bigla basta na-mention sa akin ni Nintendo, akit ako. He went up and did a choke slam, I think. Yun. So parang, what the hell are you doing? Ayun.
Okay, where were we? Yes, and paano mo nakilala si Mr. C and si Camus, if possible, or even as far Romoran?
I met them talaga through through my involvement with Smart Henry. Si Camus was already familiar with me nung Ateneo days pa namin. He was part of the training pool for the Ateneo judo team. He was yung mga juniors namin at the time, so hindi ako familiar with everybody doon. But apparently he was familiar with me naman. Sila Stan and Go, I met na through Smart Candy when I started writing for them yung mga show reviews. That was my first foray into Smart Candy. Show reviews and WTF Wednesdays, which didn't last very long.
Oh yeah, out of curiosity, Smart Candy has been around for over 6 years, right?
Yeah.
So how do you manage to join Smart Candy at first place? What's the story, Mike?
Puro puns, just because of puns. It was create your own tag team and give them a name. Tapos I had a couple of submissions, and then at the time, Mark De Hoya, si MDJ, Tito MDJ, yeah, Tito MDJ messaged me, said, "Oh, I like your humor. Do you have any previous writing experience?" And actually, I did, because before joining Smart Henry, I used to cover MMA with an international group called Tap Nap Snap. They were a very professional group, and they really made me what do you call this? Really made me try to write better, but it was in Smart Henry and another local MMA group called Dojo Drifter, where yung talagang hinahasa na nila yung writing skills ko, which are still need a lot of work, pero it's much better than when I started.
Okay. And then after the Joshi Jam, and then have you heard of Revolution from PW or their original test show?
No, I have not heard about it, pero I heard about yung Revolution X, the first one.
Yan yung unang show na panood mo?
Actually, I was my first real interaction with them was during the press con sa Cubao Expo.
Yes, that was before Revo X. Yung Revo X press con, yes.
Yeah. I was actually there to cover it as part of Dojo Drifter, a local MMA coverage team. Pinitch ko dun sa editor-in-chief namin, si Gab Pangalanan, that hey, these guys are pro wrestlers, and it's a local product. Okay lang ba if I write about it? Tapos he said, yeah, tapos try mo rin if ever possible at the time to join a training session. So I went to the first one. It's a serious coverage, so I made notes and everything. I was supposed to write about it, but the idea got mixed. Um, but it was fun. I really enjoyed myself in the first one. And I hung out. Si Nintendo was already part of PWR at the time. As a young boy, and yun, that was how I got to how I first interacted with PWR.
Okay. So regarding PWR's existence during 2014 up until 2015, what's your first impression of the company? What's the story, Mike?
It's naman as with any new company, especially somebody who's starting at the time who's starting a scene that hasn't been around for quite a while. Ako hindi ko naman abutan yung original Philippine wrestling na promotion. Hindi ko nabutan yun. I didn't have super high standards. Let's be realistic. There weren't that many legit trainers at the time for Filipino wrestlers. So I just came there. I wanted to see what Philippine wrestling was all about. And my very first Philippine pro wrestling match, the experience ko was Pascal Brian Leo and Mayhem Brannigan for the third Iron Man match.
The
Tapos
30-minute Iron Man match. So,
Yeah.
what do you think of
Yeah,
that
and,
match? I heard na grabe daw, kung posible. Hindi yung sa...
It was bad. It was bad. Super bad. Tapos ang nakakaano nun, I was there parang I was treating that show as a birthday salubong ko because I was May 23. My birthday was the following day. I
paano
was there
kayo
with
yung
a
birthday
friend.
mo?
Tapos
May 20th?
May 24. I was
Oy! Parehas
the
tayo,
first.
pre! May 24 rin ako.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Pag binabati nga tayo same
Kaya
time.
mas
diba?
matanda pa ako sa'yo, alam niya, ha? Mga ilang taon yata. Kasi ako 1983 ikaw naman. Siguro wala pa naman 1990 at least.
88 naman.
88! 4 plus
Ayun.
4 equals 8, kids. Pero pag 8 plus 8, edi 88. Alright.
So, birthday salubong ko yung sarili ko. And parang when that was my first na match, napaisip ako doon, like, the hell am I doing here? But, after that, like, disastrous first match, okay naman. It got better. It got more fun. Like, you adjusted your expectations kasi, it's a fresh product. But, I remember the last match of that card was Bombay Suarez versus Jake De Leon for the inaugural PWR Championship, and sobrang saya nun.
This is by far the best match of the night, if possible.
Best match of the night, easily best match of the night. They were doing things that I didn't know were possible. Like I remember yung trinay ni Rana ni Suarez, si JDL, and JDL just cartwheeled out of it. It was like, wow! So sobrang fun nung night na yun. I remember that Ryan Songaya, who was formerly of Rappler and also covered Philippine wrestling, he was right beside me. Tas sobrang lasing niya nun. Like hindi pa nagsisimula yung show. Lasing na siya. Along with
uminom siya ng beer o alak?
Oh, he had huge Red Horse bottles with him.
Pero nagmamaliho ba siya?
I don't know, but it was super fun kasi Ken Warren was his boy, so he was shouting for him the whole night, and it was a lot of fun. I just enjoyed myself, and yun, that was my first show ko.
Alright, do you still recall your second show that you attend, if possible?
That was in I Academy. It was also, I think it was the first show in I Academy, and
The
it was the first
PWR
show.
Live, too.
Oo.
May aircon na, yun.
PWR Live, may aircon na. And that was, um, I think that was the very first show I reviewed. And that was also when nagkaroon ng sign na, for Chris Panzer, yung, wag sa mukha. And I used that image of,
Ganun ba? Doon
uh,
talaga nag-originate yung wag sa mukha?
yeah, I think so. Kasi may sign si Anna of Heckler's Row na showing wag sa mukha. So I used that image as my header for my very first review.
Yes. My first Eye Academy show by far is Terminus. Actually, it's their final Terminus. No one knows about that. The first show that I attend will be the Niagara PWR Live way back in August 15 of 2015. And the good old Makati Cinema Square Arena. Dami kong memories dyan. Para yung masarap talagang parte, na-upload siya sa YouTube. Kompleto yung mga matches as in compare yung sa 2014 na Terminus. Sana kompleto yun. Saka yung unang Renaissance and yung unang Vendetta pati yung Revolution X dapat full show talaga. I mean full match nga complete sana sa YouTube, pero I don't know what's going on, kung sino yung nagtago yung mga niyan or what. I hope na balang araw before tayo tatanda, we will able to get to see that one. Kung ma-upload lang.
Past shows.
It's very important because you have to look at there para mag-gets mo kung ano yung pinagmulan talaga. Yung pinagmulan nila.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the OGs, okay? And then the second batch. And then soon to be third batch and vice versa. Okay, so what about your third show that you managed to attend?
Hindi ko na ma-recall. Pero it was another Eye Academy show.
Could it be the first
what...
show of 2015 or is it from PWR Vendetta?
I think it was Vendetta. I'm not sure. Who were the
Let me see.
I can't recall.
Classical Brian Dio versus Raul Mambayashi. PWR title rematch.
Rematch? Wala. I wasn't there. Yeah, I was away for something, but I couldn't catch it.
But did you attend Revolution X 2016?
The Revolution X 2016 is the only Revolution X that I missed. I was with friends at the time for an out of town trip, and nakasubaybay ako on my phone kung yung isa results, and I actually regretted not being able to go kasi it was really fun.
But I was there. I had too many memories of it, which include let me see Kanto Terror versus Apocalypse, yung match na yan, all-out war match. But nandun pa nga si Mark Di Manalo, and the result was Beer Pyongpang, Pyongpang ba yun? Pyongpang, yes. Yung kay FPJ, diba, yung dalawang kami na wak sa ulo. Beer naman sa ulo ni Apocalypse. Hey kids, remember, it was on Revolution X 2016. The Apocalypse debuted his version 1 of his current mask. And oksa ko pero still nakakatakot. Tingin po naman, may mas nakakatakot siya kumpara sa Year Zero ni Apocalypse from Revolution now up to the let me see, yung pinakahuling PWR live yata bago mag-Revolution X 2016. So, you mentioned about your third show na hindi mo na ma-recall, but probably it has something to do with the Raul Mambayashi Apocalypse main event. Tama ba? O hindi naman?
Yeah.
That's before Vendetta. Wait, that's before Vendetta.
I watched that.
PWR Live, Road to Vendetta. Yan yung first show nila ng 2016.
Kasi I remember Ralph Imabayashi was hit with the Death Bell at the very start of the show. I remember I was writing in my notes, what the hell? Why that thing start? Tapos biglang inano pa siya, talagang Iwabayashi was what do you call this, was manhandled at the beginning of uh, of that match, and I was wondering if there was going to be an actual title change during before Vendetta, and that was when Apocalypse was a monster, a real monster. Uh, and then I was thinking like, why is he facing Apocalypse now? Him.
Save na
Like
natin to, ah.
way different from Apocalypse. Way different from current Apocalypse.
One. Alright, now, where were we? It was also from that show. Hey, guys, ha? Be mindful that na kompleto yung mga matches do sa, unang PWR Live ng 2016, yung Road to Vendetta. It was there that, if I were not mistaken, the confrontation between former PWR talent, Peter Versosa and Crystal, well, I think naging malala na ata, and then that's where Crystal had enough and then challenged Peter Versosa one-on-one sa PWR Vendetta. And I personally see it myself. We're gonna tackle this behind the scenes thing regarding Peter Versosa and Crystal because almost all of us never expected na may controversy regarding yung kay Peter Versosa. I mean, who is former talent ng PWR and former PHX champion. And disgrace talaga. We're gonna chit-chat about it later. Now, what's your fourth show pala yung na-attend mo sa PWR, if possible?
I can't remember na talaga yung ano. It's been a long time, and I've watched so many shows na I can't remember now. Yung order of what.
Have you managed to watch yung first show nila sa Show Boulevard Mandaluyong yung sa 500?
Show 500.
Yes, you've been there, right?
Yeah.
Yan yung
Showdown, yeah.
PWR Live the Showdown. Okay, I got no problem about the title, but some others do, I guess. They just make it a little bit shortcut, pero okay naman. Kaya ko na ito. Okay, now let's get on with it. May segment si Redrick Mahaba at si JDL, if I'm not mistaken. And my first impression about that place, okay, malaki rin. Pang let's say, bago pa lang siya or something. What do you think of that place, in your opinion?
If I remember correctly, that was a different floor from what is currently being used, or from what was used during the succeeding shows. Maganda parking ng Show 500. There's multiple parking, and there's lots of food establishments outside.
Yes, nakabili ako ng mga pagkain doon, pang merienda.
Madaling puntahan, and it's easy to go to and go home from the venue kasi maraming public transportation. What I didn't like about it was walang what do you call this?
CR.
There was no Tron at the time. Yung first show walang Tron. But they had a ramp talaga na maganda.
Ramp, naalala ko pa yung ramp.
There was a ramp there.
Well, makeshift lang yan. Kasi ganito talaga yung part na yan at the time, if I'm not mistaken. And Tron, kasi baguhan pa lang yung PWR, so bihira sila kumikita pa ng malaki para makabili ng yung Tron nila, kung posible. And speaking of which, supposed to be classical Brian Leo versus Sandata, one-on-one, pero hindi natuloy. Because part yung sa storyline, he was ambushed by the remnants of Royal Flush from John Sebastian, who became the future wrestling Lord and Savior, si P2 the V, Peter Versosa, and si PHX champion at the time, si Main Max. Let's say pinali sila yung leader nila, but I think may part na real life elements of which is already explained on episode 147 of the what used to be known as SGP podcast, naging wrestling podcast. Kids, pakinggan ninyo, medyo malapit yung backstory regarding yung Kearney, yung gumanap na classical Brian Leo, okay? What else pa? Yes, si JDL versus who's this? Main Max. Champion versus champion, not title for a title. Okay, wala pa tayo doon. Wala pa.
Mm.
Nothing happened because I wonder who interfered. John Sebastian? Yeah.
The whole of what do you call this? The whole of Royal Flush.
What
Royal
used to
Flush
be the remaining
2.0.
of Royal Flush.
Oo.
And also behind the scenes part na to, way back in 2016. Una si Mayhem Brannigan umalis sa PWR kung hindi ako nakakamali. Maybe then si the lady behind the Queen of the Royal Flush, si Scarlett. Maganda siya. From what I remember, medyo I think she's 5'4". Almost kasing tangkad namin, I guess. I have a picture of her. One of my few memories of her being part of the Royal Flush. Sayang na never had a chance to see her wrestle, to say the least.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know
what's
we all don't know the backstory yet, although I just heard rumors and rumors and rumors. It's just a damn rumor, right? Pero may part pa maging totoo to. Let's say, where were we? What was your fixed show, if possible?
Hindi ko rin matanda.
What about yung yung PWR Renaissance, which happened on, yes, the first time they had on sa Bayanihan Center, yes, sa malapit sa area ng sa Unilab area, doon sa boundary ng Mandaluyong, Pasig. Let me see. But before that one, have you heard the first ever APCC that yung PWR na sa APCC 2016, yung una nila? I only attend like 2 shows. Hindi ko ako maka-attend sa third dahil physical and mental exhaustion nata ako, kung hindi ako nakakamali.
So I think that was one of my regrets of covering PWR was I never got to watch yung mga APCC shows nila. I missed a lot of yung mga mall or parang outside na events, like yung mga APCC shows, also their on Father's Day event.
On Father's Day sa 2017 yun,
Yeah, so I missed that one too. Yun.
Oh, I need to know. You never been in yung Renaissance 2017, no? And then
Who were
2016.
like give me a match from there.
Let me see. Supposed to be si JDL versus Sebastian para sa main event PWR title match. I just give the kiss to my lovely wife of mine. Okay, now kaka-tutor lang yan yung mga brats sa sent via internet like that, video conference, if you will. Let me see. Yes, Suplex Sunday. Alam ko wala ka dun, no?
Wala.
Ouch. Well, I was there. Hold it a second. Before PW Renaissance, a handful of people knew that I attended the PWR bootcamp way back in early of July 2016. And believe it or not, the batch, yung mga naging batch ko doon will be the guys who will become PWR Tag Team Champions in their respective timeline. I'm talking about the naughty boys of Philippine wrestling, si Rian Del Toro and Evan Carlo. And then, the Kakaibros, si Kendrick and si Maki. And then, I remember my encounter with Makata. That's my expression of it is like, naalala ko tuloy yung Mighty Kid na rubber shoes, yung bata pa ako, although I never wear one. Bakit kaya mukhang okay yung pagmubuka ni Makata? I mean, anong problema ko? Maybe I had too much imaginations. To be honest, I had such wild imaginations. Some childish, some adventures, and so forth. Mula sa pagkabata ko hanggang ngayon, could help it. But, yes, the Suplex Sunday main event. JDL versus John Sebastian for the PWR Championship in the first ever Bacolod Bull Rope match, on which John Sebastian somewhat somehow managed to snag the PWR title away from the Senorito, Chick De Leon.
Yeah.
And alam ko, narating ni May Max yung title, let me see, PHX title before he lose it.
Crystal?
Siya yung pinakamatagal na
Crystal ba?
PHX champion si Main Max.
Yeah.
He lost the title sa unang show ng 2017 sa PWR Live bago Yugto. Before we go there, we are looking forward for PWR Terminus. Even you, right?
Yeah,
And
I was
then
also it got cancelled.
It got cancelled. That was before. That was right. If I'm not mistaken, that was before the bombshell from PWR way back then. Their biggest at that time. The man behind the classical Branlio character got kicked out. And do you have some of the sources at the time why he got kicked out? Or just like me, we learned it from the Wrestling Podcast 147 episode.
Most of what I learned, from what was released then, sila, a lot of sensitive information. Well, any sensitive information regarding PWR was kept silent naman. Hindi naman share sa amin.
Yes, they keep on hush-hush kasi unsettled affairs with that person. Even to this day.
I mean, like, with people in Smart Candy, we don't hindi naman siya share sa amin. Kasi it's internal stuff.
Affairs,
so,
yan. Parte na dapat confidential yung company niya kasi masaklap. Although I learn from time to time from some of these sources na dami I mean, even Camus would say daming liabilities regarding the man behind CBL character kasi marami naging bulgar yung regarding yung personality niya. Even on Redrick Mahabas account, sa PWR account niya doon na pa niya na bulgar yung mga wow. Talaga? Ganyan siya? Even the man behind Mike Madrigal character na pagdating sa leadership and the way na trabaho ni yung the man behind classical Branlio character, hindi sulit. And had to agree with him if possible. Let me see. Hindi lang si classical Branlio yung nanatalsik yung gumanap na si Big Bang Bruno Bernardo. May nabasa ako yung kakilala ko, si Mr. Paul Garcia, masungit daw. Kumbaga, pang one big lazy son of a bitch. Even to this day, occasionally, he's been always roasted, not only by former network comrades, even the Naughty Boys of Philippine Wrestling. They kinda use a portion of him sa The Carlos Show. Episode 5 yata, on which, ito yung The Network. Yes. Memories, man. Memories. Si James Idol Martinez. I think your opinion regarding James Idol Martinez, if possible, during that time.
What was that era ulit? Yung during Big Bang during 4B's
4B's si Big Bang Bruno Bernardo, 'di ba yung original na muscle man ni Idol. Pero okay yung gimmick ni Idol, although sources says that he doesn't even know how to wrestle. But I say wrestle, but I don't think so. Parang sabihin natin comedy relief kung baga. But it did work naman. Kaya nga, he's one of the popular guys around. Either some mid-card siya o something like that. Anyway, yung 2017, ano yung unang show na panood mo? Yung sa 2017?
No, 2017 was bagong Yuko, di ba?
Oo, tama ka nga.
Yeah, I missed that kasi I remember bagong Yuko was on the same day that I was going to be coming home from Baguio from a trip. Tapos, ang bala ko sana nun was to get home around 12, or ano, kasi habol ako. And nagkaroon ng problema sa trip namin. Nag-got home mga 8 o'clock na. So, na-miss ko na yung buong bagong ito. And sayang kasi that was where, tawag ito, some WWE executives were there to
Oh,
watch.
yes.
And almost everybody was booked for that show. Yun, sayang. And it was much closer pa naman since QC yung show. So may along White Plains na naman. But yeah, sayang. I missed that show.
Okay, but on what show do you manage to watch? Is it after Bagong Yugto or yung right after PWR Path of Gold? Their first Path of Gold show, 2017.
I was there nung Path of Gold na show.
Yeah.
I was there.
So,
Uh,
I need your side of the story. What do you think of the first ever Path of Gold show? From the matches and then some title matches doon, mga iba pang contest, and yes, the Path of Gold itself. The second time
That-
they contest that one, yung Path of Gold. Yung una, Terminus 2015.
That was when Chris Panzer won, di ba?
Yes, Panzer was the second person to won the Path of Gold match, believe it or not.
First was JDL, second was Chris Panzer, third was...
Oh,
Ken-
the third
ano,
one. Third one si
Third was
Ken Warren, yes. Pero for
Ken
the
Warren,
first
Ken
time sa
Warren.
history, PHX title yung pinili niya laban kina
Mm,
The
and
Walking
then-
Dead Mike Madrigal. More on
and then
that later.
Quattro.
Because,
Mhm.
Okay.
I remember Ken Warren used that used that title shot challenge for the PHX title, tapos that cleared the way for Miguel Rosales to eventually be able to challenge Rafi Nobuyashi for the Campeón ng Pilipinas title.
Alright.
So, yun.
Okay. Now, let's get back to 2017. You watch after Path of Gold. What about you, PWR Live Mainit? And yes, Revolution X.
Yeah, I was there for Mainit and was there for Mainit, Revolution X, and then Rest Back. I was there.
Nandun ka sa
I
Rest
missed-
Back?
I was there in Rest Back.
Yung
that
yung
was
mainit
in
na photon show?
yung tunay na PWR Live tunay na mainit. Yeah, I was there.
So, before we go there, so, of these three shows, which is by far yung nagustuhan mo? Yung sa PWR na mainit, yung Revolution X 2017, o yung PWR Live Rest Back?
Each one has their own naman. Each one had their own selling points. I remember Mainit had their what do you call this? PWR Live Mainit had its first round for the tag team championships.
Ayun, yes.
That was it was announced previously. Tapos parang yun yung first round, and they had a lot of good matches. Like every match was good. And there were some surprises. There was a time na people thought Delirium would win their match. I forgot sino kalaban nila, but it was overall a good set of matches. And,
Let me see, Delirium. Hindi naman Fighters for Hire, hindi naman yung tag team ng the YOLO Twins. May isa pa, yung Beer From D, wala no? Oh yeah, right, wala. Regarding yung feud din, last year pa yun sa 2016. Oh yeah, what about Punk Dolls? Punk Dolls, yes, I remember.
Punk Dolls went against sino ba rin eventually sino yung three naglaban-laban for the championship? It was Fighters for Hire, YOLO Twins, and
Walking Dead.
Walking Dead, yeah.
Deadly Sins pala, Deadly Sins.
Deadly Sins.
Si Mike Madrigal at si Vlad Sinsik. Ewan ko paano nag-pair yung dalawa yun, pero okay naman yung chemistry niyan. That will lead to Revolution X, on which we witnessed YOLO Twins was crowned the inaugural PWR Tag Team Champion. Chino win the PHX title in a four-way match against
Chino Ginto, yeah.
Chino Ginto, then champion si Peter Versosa and Who else? Si Sandata, kung hindi ako nakakamali. Party siya doon.
it was Sandata, Rafi Mabayashi, Peter Versosa, and the eventual champion who was Chino Ginto.
Yeah, when after Chino
Finish-
Gito win na, yung sa sobrang
Oo.
pagkatalo ni Rap, doon na namumubot yung boiling point niya.
Oh,
Breaking
that was,
point rather. I see
actually-
he went berserk.
yeah. During that whole time, he was having his losing streak, or parang like that whole stretch. I actually have an article on that. Like Bad Luck in Mabayashi was the title or something.
Bakit
And-
Mabayashi yun?
Yeah, kasi he had a long string of losses, and
Wow, sakit yun.
it was built up to him losing his yung parang nawala na talaga siya and turned heel at PWR Live Resback. That was when he
Yes.
that was when he turned heel along with
Frederick Mahaba. Oh, yes. Oh, yeah, about Resback. Shall we talk about the now instant classic tag team all-out war match, the second one in PW history? I'm talking about Deadly Sins and Fighters for Hire. I need your opinion of that match.
sobrang wild. It was simply put, sobrang wild kasi they had yung spots na spear to the outside, and that was a ceramic tiled floor. Actually, kabado ako nun kasi shit, this is really expensive to replace if
Tama yun.
you could break the tiles.
Breaking tiles
and-
in bad trip. Nakakasugat kaya yan.
Yeah.
Promise.
sobrang wild nun, and the sobrang malas na instance was I got called out by the security kasi I had to move my car kasi somebody was going to leave, kasi yung parking ng photo at the time was parang sige, basta may parada nilang dyan, sobrang daming tao kasi I had to move my car, so I had to leave. I had to leave towards the finish, and that was when I forgot what was the finish. Basta I missed the finish, and sayang yun kasi that was the very first bring your own weapons match, right?
Yeah, but at least napanood mo na sa YouTube, diba? Yung legendary match na to. Legendary,
Oo.
Pero para sa akin, classic na classic talaga. It was one of the best match PWR has ever presented, but it's also one of the most physically brutals ever in the company's history. Everyone...
I reviewed that show. Tapos parang
Okay.
like, yeah.
Now, did you manage to miss the next show, yung PWR Renaissance 2017?
Yeah, yung sa
Playland, doon sa Fisher Mall.
Fisher Mall.
Yes.
Yeah, I missed that one.
Oh, one. Alright. But guys, sa 2017, you miss PWR Renaissance. From what I know, na yung sumunod data yung Unfather's Day special ba yun? Tama ba? O is it actually in 2018? That was a very long time. And oh yes, the second APCC. I was there actually. You mentioned you weren't there, right?
Yeah.
Yung APCC
I
27.
wasn't there.
Pero guess what? I did the impossible possible. 3 days. 3 solid days. It was on that APCC 2017 that a tournament to determine the VHX title kasi na-vacated because of Chino Ginto got injured during training. And
Yeah.
wait a minute, that was PWR Renaissance, tapos sumunod ata yung bakbakan
That was
sa
where
bakbakan sa Bayanihan.
Mhm.
That was before APCC 2017. Punta tayo sa bakbakan sa Bayanihan. Doon niya na-bulgar yung nangyari kung bakit na-injured siya and everything, and he had to relinquish the PHX title that he worked so hard for it, big time. And then a tournament will be contested in APCC itself, 2017, on which in the end Mike Madrigal win the title and went on to have the second longest PHX title reign in its company's history, next to kina Main Max. Oh, my dear, why do you need help? Medyo, lumaki yung ni Mrs. Laban ng sabi sa akin, para tulungan ko kahit sandali. It doesn't matter. She's done tutoring and then I'm about to take a bath. Ako na una dahil for the sake of the recording ito. Anyway, where were we? Yes. Seeing AEPCC stuff. I had a handful of good memories over there. I instantly bought, let me see, WWE at 50, if I'm not mistaken. And then, sometime yung sa iba sa fully book yata, tinabili ko yata yung 30 years of WrestleMania. Hardcover lahat yan, Legit to, pre. Kids, ito yung picture. Oh, nakita niyo na yung collection ko. Kulang na lang yung Raws 25 years na hardcover, pati yung kina Undertaker kung posible. If they had that one fully book, but at this particular time sa COVID-19, malabong mangyari, so I'm not gonna buy anything yet, except some of the necessary stuff that I needed, electronics, and also groceries along with my wife. Hopefully, okay yung weather tomorrow sa early in the morning. Makapunta kami sa Unimart, but can't say if makapasok ka kasi alam ko kailangan ng quarantine pass, but I give it a try, a little bit of an experiment. Now, yung yung pinakahuling show na attend mo sa PWR, yung sa 2017?
I can't remember.
What about yung PW, yung Oktoberplex. Before Oktoberplex.
I missed Oktoberplex.
Oh.
Yeah, I missed Oktoberplex.
Okay. Yeah, me too. I miss Oktoberplex, and yung masakit, na-miss ko yung newly rescheduled na PWR Vendetta, which is now officially in November event na siya, as opposed to February event. It was there na we all learn about the first ever ubusan ng lahi match, 5-on-5, ala Survivor Series elimination tag match. And yes, the team Mr. C, that includes Cancer, si Sandata, who else pa?
Fighters for Hire.
Yes, Fighters for Hire. That's for one.
Dax
Xavier. Yes, Dax Xaviera. That was before the whole Sandata Dax Xaviera thing in 2018, if I'm not mistaken. And yes, John Sebastian, MTN Edge, Peter Bersosa, and to everyone's shock, even at your own standard, yung fan favorite na si the Senorito Jake De Leon, aka Chicken Joy Pikachu. Chicken Joy Pikachu. Yung mga counterbeats yung nanalo, si Mr. C tanggal na sa general manager position, and the rest is history. And then, punta tayo sa 2018, yes, PWR Live, Kingdom Come. Yes, that's where the celebration of Team Sebastian, and also this whole Upland Sagip Wrestling, which was JDL's idea apparently. Were you there on that show sa Kingdom Come o wala?
Yeah, I was there.
So, what do you think of the JDL gimmick regarding yung Walis Tambo?
Walis Pempenko. It was interesting to see JDL as a heel. Kasi for the longest time he was the face of the company. He was Mr. Philippine. Oh, hindi pa ata Mr. Philippine Wrestling at the time. Pero we always see him as like the hero. Pero like there was a point na para nagkakaroon siya frustrations with everything that was happening. So he finally snapped and joined the bad guys. And,
speaking of that, Brad Cruz. Yung taong feeling gwapo pero hindi naman pogi. Remember, he's my guest, right? That was episode 3, if I'm not mistaken. Thank goodness for him. He volunteered. Kung hindi sa potosik, Blood cruise na to, blood cruise whatsoever. Or yes, na mga ilan mga video vignettes ni JDL regarding paano mong talunin si Brad Cruz. Oh shit.
Yeah.
And then dumating sa Kingdom Come. It was sa diba at the time na sponsor sila ng yung Potato Corner. And then everyone was clamoring for sour cream flavor as opposed to barbecue, which is my favorite flavor too, barbecue. And then I remember JDL would shout sour cream. And then do you recall when someone yelled barbecue? Barbecue! And doon nagwala si JDL. Naalala ko pa yung linya niya. Barbecue! Sino nagsabi ng barbecue? Sino? I love that reaction. Do you recall that? O hindi na masyado?
Hindi na.
That's one of my
Basta
favorites.
daw. Yeah.
But have you ever thought who in the bloody hell would shout barbecue?
Anybody. It could be anybody.
Si Chicken Joe Pikachu naging bad boy na. And months later, you learn about the existence of Manila Wrestling Federation, right? Which was formed by the guys who were used to be part of PWR during its initial conception, way back in 2014. So, if any chances, have you ever attended the first MWF show, yung MWF Live in April of 2017?
No, I was not able to attend that show. Yung sa Makati Cinemasquare yan, di ba?
Oh yes, that was 2017. Akala ko 2017. I forgot to tackle that one. This is the second company na sabihin natin yung standard ng quality ng entertainment niya. I can't say if you agree with me. It was on par with PWR at the time, but slowly but surely they might surpass it if possible. Mga bata, diretsuhin ko kayo. Yung huge difference ng PWR and MWF is that yung PWR, from what I heard, mga fans talaga ng pro wrestling yung nagnonood doon, but it can be also masa too if needed. But yung MWF is more for the masses. And yes, family-friendly entertainment siya, as in comparison to PWR. But I had to say that it's a good thing MWF existed because I had some of my favorite wrestling characters there, ranging from Robin Sane, yes, that's the one, the inaugural MW champion. Si Mr. Lucha, who else pa? Yung bully from Batasan na si walang kasing lupit, walang kasing astig, Fabio Makisig, and then si Greek Striker, and then the Filipino strong style na si Rex Lang, who become known as Danger Rex Lang, who was accompanied by, at the time of his manager, si Coach Gus Queens. And then we have Hanselo Silva, that's for one, and then sino si ang partner ni Hanselo to, Alden Richards, Alden Richards ba yun? Excuse me, that was quite years ago. Yes, si Frankie 13 and Morgan Vaughn. And yeah, don't forget Ninja Ryujin too. Ninja Ryujin. And then later dumating ilan sa mga stars doon. Like for example sino tong yung babaeng ninja na to? Forgot her name. Do you still remember her name? No?
Si
Ashura! Yun! Ashura! She's good too. I had to admit it. And then ilan sa darating na rin si RG, or who is known now as Pac RG. Personal forgot yung meaning ng PAC na to. Personal assistant to the commissioner. Tama ba yun? Tagal na niya. What else pa? So, I need to know your opinion about MWF as in comparison to PWR.
MWF na his first show, it's hard to compare naman talaga. Kasi, first show will always, you should never compare somebody who's doing their first show, somebody who's been doing for like, at the time, 3 years na. There's always going to be like in birthing process of it. Like, it's not going to be the most polished product, and it's going to take a while for them to reach the same level or reach a level that this is where we are. Talagang simula, it's not you can't there's always going to be mistakes happening. PWR started the same din naman eh. It started with a lot of mistakes then. Um, MWF was for me, was very story heavy. They had really good vignettes. Uh, and ang ganda ng production nila in terms of video. I remember lalo na when Kasaysayan happened, when they had their revival of sorts, and they had their show sa Elements in Eton Centris, I think. That was fun. Grabbing production value noon, and uh, they really put a lot of work into into the media that they produced, and that was great. That was their niche. That was their niche. They're very good at storytelling. Parang action
Action novela TV.
action novela talaga sila.
Yeah.
That was their branding, and they excelled at it. So yeah.
Alright, kids. Before we talk about this one, magpapatalastas tayo and pagbalik natin we talk about Manila Wrestling Federation and so forth. So stay tuned mga bata, at huwag niyong kalimutan, kapag kayo may problema sa Philippine Wrestling community na kahit maliit pero tight-knit, isa lang masasabi ko sa inyo, jelote kayo talaga, mga tarantado. Cut.